What's up, you guys?
I already used my can't do the podcast joke. Thinking that we were recording. You can run it back? All right. I can't do the podcast. It's totally all laugh and laugh and laugh.
Praise how why?
I lean back and I smile. Looking back
That
at
is
the job well done.
our very lovely first-time guest, Adrian.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
We have Adrian on the podcast today. Of course, this is Ariana next to me. I have the love of my life.
Andrea.
And then we got
Miss Hope Frazier.
Miss Hope Frazier.
I can never say my own name on these things. My name is Hope, not Frazier. But you can call me baby.
Oh! We got our sound guy on the ones and twos.
Anthony.
Hope
Probably
passing
good old
notes
Tony.
over to Anthony.
Don't call
he's
him
just
that,
gonna
Ariana.
read that.
Is he texting somebody on your phone?
Sending an address.
Oh, got it. Got it. For our second guest today, for those listening, we are doing multiple episodes in one day, like the multitaskers that we are.
You could say we're professionals in our industry.
Some
I
would
don't
say
know.
we're professionals. Some would say that I catered salad and go to us today.
Some would say that.
Not many people. Only 3 people in this room would say that. Because those are the 3 people who got salad and go.
How many episodes are you doing?
This is episode 6. 6. Oh my gosh,
This is
we
our
made
6th
it.
episode. Today we're doing
almost
2.
Doing 2?
Yes.
Okay, I was worried you guys were in it for like the long haul. Like people would
He's
tune
like,
in.
you guys, I don't know. I've seen the setup. I ran some numbers.
I'm not a
and
fan.
You're not a fan. You're not gonna last.
I'm just looking out for the viewer because if people tune into episode 12 and you guys just sound like
We're like,
way more tired. The episode is like 5 minutes long because you've run out of things to talk about.
yeah, we don't really. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys enjoyed this 5-minute clip of us eating.
At that point, when we run out of material, you know what? You could be our material guy. Like, we'll think of stuff, but then we're like, okay,
We'll run
we
it
really
by
need
Adrian.
something. We're like, because for our listeners, Adrian's one of the most interesting people I've ever met, honestly.
Wow. He is people,
his
yes.
mind
Wow.
truly is a gift to America.
It is.
I think so.
Did he know my name last time that we met? No,
No.
he didn't.
No.
He didn't.
It doesn't matter.
But he was confident in his
nonetheless-
knowledge.
Not only did I not know your name, I picked the worst name.
You picked the worst name
I
out of
could've-
all the names. The name that we all have history here with.
Yeah.
But you know what? You said it with such confidence that I was like, is that my name? So I'll let it go this time. But if it happens again,
Canceled.
We're deleting this episode off of
Yeah.
Denny's
This
parking lot.
episode will be limited time
The
only.
next episode will be live from the Denny's parking lot, where we get to the bottom of this.
We need to
Where
do
they
on
go
location.
bodies in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
parking
yeah.
lot.
That'll be on our Patreon.
Have you ever run 30s?
Have I run what?
Ever run a 30?
No.
So this
30.
is something that has plagued my house lately because
I love that.
we've been having some disagreements, and Ethan told me that he's like, oh, you know what my rapper friends do? Back in their neighborhood, what they do is that they run 30s, where you start the clock, you have 30 seconds, no rules.
Oh no.
And
That sounds chaotic.
And what happens?
And now I threw a grape at one of my roommates, and he told me that when I come home from work, we're running a 30, and I've been living in fear ever since.
So that's why you've been shaking this
I
entire
know.
time.
Exactly.
For our listeners, Adrian is visibly sweating.
That vibrating sound is Adrian's body.
It's also that rain.
But
you gave me.
honestly, running 30s,
That's terrifying.
it's not terrifying, but I feel
me.
like
If
it
you're
could get the
weak-
job done. Like if women would just run a 30 instead of like holding on to things.
Yeah.
Like I'm not even trying to make it like a gender thing.
Right.
But like guys can literally like hit each other in the balls and like be done with something.
They're like, sorry, bro.
And it's
They're
done.
like,
And it's like we try to punch each other in but we know how much that hurts. So it's
Yeah.
like we're like, so I'm gonna hold on to
I'm
it
gonna
and I'm
hate
gonna be
you for
upset.
the next
Yeah,
12
I'm gonna be
years.
upset. But if we just ran a 30 and we just literally went bodies and then afterwards
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Wipe the blood off my nose and then and move
I think
on.
this was good. I think we came really far.
That's a good idea. I feel like we just solved a lot of things.
We did we just solve world peace? I don't know.
Someone forwarded this episode to the
Wait.
UN, okay? Let them know.
UN.
The United Nations.
Somebody get
Mr.
Kamala
Barack
on the line.
Obama.
Oh, I think she's calling in.
We actually
Oh my
have
gosh, we have to start doing this.
Okay, for all of our listeners, maybe next week, by the time you're listening to this, who knows when that will be?
Who knows?
But you need to call in next time. We'll let you
need
know.
to call in.
We'll
We'll
actually
let you know
personally
when to
reach
call
out to
in.
our listeners because there's only a couple.
In
at
fact,
this
we'll
point.
probably call you. So
Yeah,
leave
please
your
pick
phone-
up.
Leave your phone numbers in the.
So if it goes to voicemail, it's not going to make the podcast.
But it might make an album.
We're gonna get the like voter registration phone database that like organizations use. We're gonna be phone banking next podcast.
All right, you guys, we have a caller.
They're like,
got-
hello, who is this?
Karen, good year. Karen, how are you?
I'm fine, Adrian. How are you? This is one of those phone recording. You're on Community Salad.
You're on air.
Congratulations.
And then they go on a 30-minute tangent about Jesus or something.
Yeah.
On brand.
Oh my god. I once phone banked for
The white man?
Yeah, for the white man. The old Jewish white man. And I called
Bernie Sanders?
Yeah.
Bernie!
I had to slip that in real quick about Bernie. I called this woman. I think her name was like Jeanette. She lived in Sunrise.
That was my grandma.
Is there a city
That
named
is your
Sunrise?
grandma.
Sun City?
Sun City. She
Or-
lived in Sun City.
Okay.
And I was talking to her, and I was just like, and she was like, oh, that's the guy with the healthcare, right? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, can he do something about my doctor? And I was like, what do you mean exactly? And then she told
He's
me the
a
story about she
African-American.
went to the doctor for a hip surgery, and he made her leg 2 inches longer than it should have been. And
Some would say that's a gift.
and she was asking me if Bernie Sanders was going to do something personally about the doctor that made one of her legs longer than the other.
On her behalf.
Yeah, exactly. And she was like, oh, like he made my leg longer, and then they
my
had to get like a
God.
team of like 6 doctors to make my leg shorter and everything.
The
and it was
angry bagel guy is crying listening to this. The short angry bagel guy,
Yeah.
he's like crying tears. He's like, why can't I get hip surgery?
Why not me?
if I had known that medical technology had advanced to the point that we could make people's legs longer,
On
Not
accident?
both though, just one.
You would really just have to go break your hip and be like, oh, I broke both sides.
Oopsie.
Looks like you guys gonna have to add 2 inches.
Looks like I'm gonna be 6'2".
I'm a little baby. I can't do anything about this.
Okay, shout out Broad City. You're
Yeah.
the coolest.
Oh,
he might have just-
that was also an accident.
didn't
That's,
even
like,
know.
that's a deep cut. That's like the first episode, isn't it?
With Fred Armisen.
In my memory.
That's a
Yeah,
deep
I love Fred
deep
Armisen
cut.
more than anything.
he's honestly awesome.
When I saw him this
I can't
past
believe you see him
May,
in person.
I
That
can't
makes me
believe I saw him.
mad.
I mean, I was like 10 feet from him. You know, I
You
was
saw
like,
him in person?
yeah, at Forum.
Oh, I forgot about
It like
that.
changed my life. Like I was just sitting there and he was
He's
talking.
like an ant, isn't he?
Well, he's like a person. He's a real life person.
He's like a,
And
Is he
was-
though?
there
like
was
a
a
human.
cat that came on stage like during his performance.
cat?
Yeah. And he was just like looking at it and
That's
he's
amazing.
like, oh, hello. Like, you know how
that's
he
you.
talks.
His face is like
I know.
unintentionally funny
I
too.
know.
He's like if he just looks, I would laugh.
I want him to perform.
If he like, he's one of those few people that like when it's just their straight face, it's
Yeah.
so funny. Just like the way he looks at you, like
I don't think I could have a conversation with that man. I don't think I could have a conversation. I'd be like,
I'd be like, stop.
He's like, what am I doing?
Wait, he's like,
mad?
he's like, what is it that I'm doing that's so hilarious? I'm like, stop.
I'm crying.
It's too much. I'm weak.
he's one of those people you couldn't talk to because just you know that he's like 6 steps ahead of you.
Yeah.
Like people like Eric Andre or
Oh yeah.
like-
I'm like, I'm talking to you, but you're planning something.
No,
I
yeah,
know it.
you have
Someone's
this whole
behind me
thing
right now.
scripted.
He has
Like-
a little ratatouille. Like, we know that.
Like literally, like you have like all like diagrammed out in your head of like where this conversation is going and how it's going to lead to you pooping in your pants.
Oopsie.
I feel like we're all, or at least me and Hope, are visibly more energetic than we normally are, and that's because we're drinking brains, not bangs, to be mistaken, because as we know,
Bang is canceled.
Bangs are canceled. And let me just read off a little list for you listeners about all the other businesses that are
She
canceled.
been waiting for this one.
Song.
So Bangs, obviously, In and Out, Andre, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
In-N-Out is canceled. These are all
In-N-Out's
people
been
or
canceled,
companies that are
haven't they?
supporting Trump's re-election. But Banks, In-N-Out, Chick-fil-A, that one hurts me.
Well, it's like
Chick-fil-A
we
is also,
kind of.
like-
I feel like we little bit been new about
Yeah, we
Chick-fil-A.
Because
kinda-
you're like, they're conservative, but like, maybe not.
But their Chick-fil-A sauce.
I know, but Chick-fil-A sauce, I was like, I can turn a blind eye.
But now that they've officially come out, we can't. And it hurts my heart. Like,
Yeah.
we're literally just going to be forced to go to Salad and Go for the
I
rest
know,
of our
I
lives.
And I'm gonna almost said money. Well, money and weight. Yeah.
Money and weight. So maybe this is a good thing. Trump is making us lose weight. Lord knows. Never mind. Taco Bell, McDonald's,
That one
Wendy's.
hurts.
I
Wendy's
know.
surprises me. I
That
don't know.
It
hurts.
does.
I mean, they're all like huge. They're owned by the same,
Right.
That's
but
true.
few people.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I don't know why Wendy's.
Taco Bell hurts.
Yeah. That one hurts Andrea.
hurts.
That one hurts the most. I mean, I
I'm not
haven't
gonna-
had it too much recently.
I haven't had it in like 6 hours. But
No, like I've only had it probably like twice in the past like 4 or 5 months. But
Did she want me to go there before the podcast to pick her up something?
Yeah, Taco Bell breakfast. Yes, but it does hurt.
But you know, I just reminded her where her roots are from.
Romania,
Romania.
Roman.
So KFC, that one.
Did that one hurt?
Who goes
No,
to
no,
KFC?
Wait, did it? Did it hurt? No.
Who
But
do
does
we
it
know?
surprise us? Yes. KFC.
That is white people chicken. I'm not surprised
yeah,
at all.
exactly.
I'm not. It's
I'm with
literally
Hope on
a
this
Colonel
one.
Sanders.
What if I was like
Colonel
Popeyes?
If it was Popeyes, I'd be like, no. Like, ain't no way. Ain't no way.
Like, do you remember like the old like stereotype in high school, like, oh, black people love KFC, and it's like I will never see a self-respecting
I know.
black person.
I
show
only
up to
like their
KFC.
self-respecting.
like any black person that has like picked up a book will never go to KFC.
If I see black people at KFC, I'm like, what is wrong? Like,
exactly.
like was churches too far? Was Popeyes too much of it? Like, was even fries rotisserie? Like,
exactly. You
I
KFC's
will never.
mac and cheese toast.
Oh
It
no,
hits.
honey!
It
I'd rather
hits.
have Velveeta, like the
I don't like
microwave Velveeta.
Wow.
Pizza Hut.
That one didn't hurt that much.
Be gone.
Be gone.
Be gone.
Be gone thought. Olive Garden Hope.
Whoa! You're kidding.
Yeah.
You're kidding.
I swear.
Whoa! Ooh!
Did Hope just cater Olive Garden? She didn't know. Viewers, don't cancel Hope yet.
Don't cancel.
Don't cancel me for this.
Hope's cancel party is not in act right now.
I
Wait
better
till
not
next
look
time.
for our views. I better not look on Twitter and it's hashtag Hope is over.
like as soon as you read Olive Garden.
But they have
Olive
the, they have
Garden.
the buy one take one.
I know.
I used that. I used it like 3 times in 1 week. Ooh, that was telling. That was telling.
Fun fact about Olive Garden is, and I've tested this out. They are actually the only Italian restaurant that won't stop like with the cheese until you say when. Literally, because they don't have like a corporate rule for this. They don't care. They're just happy to
It's
have somebody
cheese.
in the doors. So they will just ruin your meal.
Let's test that. Let's not give them money.
How
We'll dine in
funny.
that. Just kidding.
Wait, that would be really funny. I just want to see like a mountain of cheese,
how
like
much-
just pouring over the table, like around you, around your
physically
seat.
couldn't if we're
And we
being
have
real.
like 3 separate waiters do it at the same
Oh my
time.
god, I would cry tears.
And we're all just like,
Have to take
didn't
breaks
say
and go
stop.
back and get more
wow,
cheese.
okay, Olive Garden hurts. I'm gonna have to tell my mom that too.
Yeah,
She's
I'm
like, what do you
sorry.
want from Olive Garden? I'm like, fettuccine.
Next up is Waffle House.
No, not you.
Not you.
you.
I mean, actually, where's the source on that one? Let me see some sources.
They have a whole
Let
link.
me see the one for Waffle House because I kind of
That
don't.
shot me.
It's not a lie. The
Well,
internet
you know
always
what?
tells the truth.
I feel like it's a corporate thing that just hires minorities. So like, and like minorities like love it.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
That's
But
because
like,
they know.
but then it's like at the very top
their
of the chain,
business.
it's still some
That's
white
how it
dude.
always is.
Like, if
Can you
there's
imagine?
never. Sorry.
No, just can you imagine?
I know. I'm like, there's never that one big corporation that's owned by minorities that's
I
for
know.
minorities. Like, when will we get it? When?
Literally. I mean,
Hope
maybe like
literally just like summarized like Karl Marx Capital.
I just summarized corporate America, but it's fine.
I think if this podcast grows enough, we will eventually be able to like buy some things out, like own some businesses,
Yes.
own some land, own some property.
Well, we're gonna
Me and Hope are
start
talking about that.
owning like a lot of businesses, owning some land, and then we're gonna go on the podcast and be like, maybe Trump's not so bad.
Because he's the one who's paying for our podcast. We're like,
Yeah, and
well,
then
like,
we're
guys,
like-
listen.
we get bought out.
We're like, maybe we don't need
As
tax
soon as we get a
cuts,
taste of the high life, we're gonna be like, oh,
We're like, we have our own jet, but listen.
And it says Trump on the side, but hey,
we're still
Bora Bora 2021.
Yes.
So after Waffle House, IHOP, who?
Yeah.
That one doesn't hurt too much. That
That's
one
fine.
kind of
That one
surprises
hurts
me.
drunken me.
That's true.
That one
Well.
hurts drunken me.
That's true. Yeah. If it was Filiberto's on here, bitch, I would be. That would end me. That would end me. And then last but not least, I'm sure there's many, many, many more, but Carl's Jr.
Dang it. Not like this.
That's the last straw. I'm out of here.
Oh, wait. No, Carl's Jr., I just wanted to try like that new burger, but it's fine. So I can
Burger
get my
King is
own.
now carrying the Impossible Burger.
Really?
If you're a vegetarian,
big
go to
bet.
Burger King.
Big bet.
Yeah.
That reminded me.
Yeah.
Okay, I sent Ariana this. I don't know why I thought about this. I sent her this, like sort of meme last night on Twitter, and it was literally like one of those Greyhound dogs in like clothes in like
Let me pull it
I
up.
saw
Okay,
that.
yeah,
I
they'll
saw
put like clothes and like the Newsies hat.
Yeah.
And wait, I want to read the caption because I literally just died, and it's weird that I'm like, how does my
I have it
humor
pulled up.
even work this way?
What reminded you of this?
But I don't know, because I think I almost said one of these words, but it's literally a picture of this dog in like gingham like pants and a sweater and a Newsies hat and a tie. And it says, "Cheerio, old chap, join me for a cuppa, won't you?" Oh, come off it, it's just tea, innit? Can you put this picture as like the episode like photo? Like, so people know.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, that's probably the funniest.
That was a good one.
I like because whenever we send each other things, like we do like that nose like laugh where it's like, huh, like we don't really laugh. But that one I laughed. So.
I just want to point out here for people who are just listening on audio, Hope for the past
Anthony just brought in
20 minutes, Hope has been receiving larger and larger objects to fan herself with.
5 unbuttoned, 3 buttons.
It started
Like,
off
oh
with
God,
her
this
hand,
shirt is
and then
about
it went
to
to
come
a
off.
notepad, and then now she has some
She has
This one's the best.
a large
incredibly,
fan.
like detailed,
Beautiful fan.
beautiful
It's embroidered
Japanese
fan.
fan.
I'm
Like
Japanese.
antique almost.
Yeah,
It's large.
like I'm getting
It's costly.
getting the like my thighs are sweating.
Sweat tying.
Exactly.
So speaking of fast food chains and stuff like that, I would like to talk about my first job was
we can
fast
go
food
around.
change. Fast food change.
Fast food
chain. I wish fast food would change. But so yeah,
Salad and Go is the change that fast food needs.
that's exactly right. But yeah, I think we should all, or we discussed about all talking about our first. Yes, get this on video.
hold up.
We all discussed about talking about like our first experiences, while we were in high school, what jobs we had, the crap that they put us through, and all that.
yes,
fun
Adrian,
stuff.
You
Yeah,
first,
Adrian,
as
you're a
always.
guest.
Oh my god! I don't think this is gonna take up the entire episode because
Get your favorite. Okay, explain the job. Get like a few memories, and then like explain. Oh, and then
Oh,
you should
boy.
say if you would ever work there again.
oh man. Okay, so so you brought up IHOP and like a list of like places that support Trump, which is not like a surprise at all as somebody who used to work there. It is
At IHOP?
it is like the most like
How old were you when you had this job?
conservative corporate structure. I guess I started working there when I was like 19.
Okay.
I don't know, like my high school job, I only worked at Safeway, and it was pretty uneventful there.
pretty chill.
Aside from a lady trying to convince me that Hillary Clinton was the devil. But
As one does.
yeah, I mean, she was nice. She brought up some good points.
Few
But
loose screws, but that's alright.
my next job after that was this IHOP in downtown Phoenix, which has been
Downtown Phoenix.
which has
City
been
boys. For our out-of-state listeners, local jokes get local work.
which this IHOP was lovingly nicknamed the IHOP from hell. Because it has a reputation among everybody as just it seems to be cursed. Nothing ever goes right there. The most absurd things happen. I walk in one day, there's no sinks.
You guys have like a
no
sign like
sinks?
days since accident.
Like literally,
It's always zero.
I don't even. It's all just like coming back to me. Like one day, for example, one day we're just pretending to work, and the ceiling started dripping like colored liquid, and we don't know where it's coming from. It's dripping on tables. It's dripping in the kitchen. We don't know what's going on.
Dripping in the kitchen.
So we started like taking out tiles of the roof, stripping down the whole thing, and trying to figure out where it's coming from. Keep in mind, of course, no plumber was called. We'll figure this out ourselves. So we got some like 28-year-old like assistant manager trying to figure out the plumbing system to this restaurant.
And all you servers paid below minimum wage. We're like, yeah, I guess we're plumbers now. Like, I guess
We're like pretty much.
guess we'll try
I'm
and
just
figure
sort of
this
like
out.
watching this whole thing happen. Of course, can't figure out what's going on. So temporary fix. It's open 24 hours. So like we can't
the
we're like
wildest thing to
taking
me.
in customers while we're doing this. So temporary fix. We just get a whole bunch of those. Like if any of you have worked in like a food like restaurant, like those like sanitation rags.
Yeah.
We take a whole bunch of those, stuff them in the like pipes in there where we think the leak is coming from. Just put a whole bunch of them in there.
let's just plug it up.
And the wonderful thing about that is that it soaks up all of like the juice, and then it actually doesn't go anywhere. It stays there, and so it's still leaking. It's just leaking a little slower. So
Adrian's like, and that's the syrup.
And we had a special that day.
and so we're like, we have to figure out a way to fix this without calling a plumber. So they do the only
IHOP is like $1 million company, but they were like,
exactly. So we do the only wise thing we do in a restaurant that's open 24 hours, and we shut off the water because
in a restaurant.
no water. So you want to wash your hands, you want to flush down your pee-pee, flush down your poo-poo. It can't happen because
Scoop it out.
we can't figure out why the roof is leaking. So we just shut off all the water until I don't know what the plan was, until we just wait it out. Like maybe if we just shut it off and
It'll evaporate.
It'll evaporate and turn back off.
Shut it off, turn the heat on.
Got them sweating.
And apparently it's like health code in Arizona that if you can't supply, let alone hot water in general, that your place is shut down for like good. So we all had to keep hush about this.
Whistleblower.
I'm a whistleblower right now.
And we don't want to get sued by any of the companies we're about to mention, so this is all alleged.
This is just I heard about this.
Yes.
Grapevine.
This is a dream he had.
Can you do that thing to my voice where you just make it like all sound like deep and it's like oh, you know, I don't even know why.
Get Adrian in front of a microphone, he acts up, I swear.
So what happened?
He's
I
like,
don't know, I went home, it wasn't leaking the next day. I wish I had a better ending to that story.
That was an amazing story, I think. I feel like... no, please go ahead, Hope.
well, I was just gonna go with like, there was a story that I wanted to share about my coworker, Mateo. Shout out Mateo. He's He just graduated high school. He's one of those people that you forget that they're younger than you.
Yeah.
And there's this story that was brought to my attention yesterday at work that's honestly absolutely wild. He's one of those people where it's like, I wish I could be one of his grandchildren because I know the stories are going to be spectacular.
Yeah.
Like he's a travel, like he's a world traveler. Like he's actually going to like Amsterdam, like
He's living the life.
real soon. And he goes on like a budget. Like he knows how to find very, very cheap flights. His Airbnb, like for him and his friends each in Amsterdam, was like $12. Like,
Girl.
yeah, he's so good at finding stuff like that. So he goes like on trips all the time. He'll go like all across the country and stuff like that. So there's one story where our other coworker who still goes to like his high school, I guess a teacher, this whole story is just a little crazy. So him and his friends went to California for the weekend, but for like some days, but they didn't get a hotel. They slept on the beach for 4 days. And I guess they had an orchestra concert that Monday, and they came to the orchestra concert like covered in sand and everything. And I guess he told the teacher like, we got our blankets stolen by homeless people in California.
What?
And then she was saying that like the orchestra teacher was telling the story, and I was like, oh, like you have to elaborate. He was like, so we're on the beach, we're staying there for days with just like blankets and pillows on the beach, like with other homeless people.
Other homeless people.
Yeah. He was like, we were homeless for like almost a week, and I was like, and y'all wanted to do that? Like, he was like, the beach had showers, and I was like, okay.
Oh, that's true.
And then he said he was like, well, we don't want to take our blankets and stuff to like LA, like when they go to do shopping or whatever. So they came back, and they put their stuff in a tree. They came back and like literally caught the guy in the act stealing their blankets and stuff when they came back to their tree, and he was running away, and Mateo was like, I chased him and was like, hey, like those are our blankets.
This is like a cartoon episode.
Oh my
Isn't it?
God.
Like, I love his stories from like traveling, and he literally was like, yeah, and they straight up just stole our blankets, and we had to spend like the last 2 nights, like they went to Goodwill and got blankets, or like just with like very crappy blankets, and they literally just drove home Monday and made it in time for the orchestra concert, and they still had like sand in their hair and stuff, and I was like, alive. Like that was them in high school, but I was like, alive. That made me think of that. I was like, that's wild. Like
That is.
like interactions with homeless people, I'm like, ugh. But like an interaction, there's just, but then an interaction like that where you get your stuff stolen, like, and you catch them in the act, it's like, what are you gonna do? But then he was like, well, what am I gonna do? Like, we were all homeless at that point. Like, can't call the cops.
Just one homeless person.
He was like, he caught me slipping. Exactly.
Wow.
I can't believe putting our stuff in a tree wasn't like.
It wasn't like, I'm like, what are the homeless people, bears? They're like, oh, we almost had it.
Gotta be quicker than that. Tell us about your own personal work experience.
Okay, for our listeners, I've been working at Bahama Bucks for almost 4 years. I have many stories. I am the assistant
And that's
store
so wild for me. Like, good for you,
know.
because I've never had that much commitment to anything in my entire life, let alone a workplace. Like, after, like, month 11, I'm like, ooh.
I know. I've had Miss Post for like 3 years, and it's getting weird now.
Like,
Yeah,
you're
it's
overstaying.
You're welcome.
I'm like, it's like you haven't paid rent this whole time, fine, but like
But it's
do
cool.
something.
It's cool because you see like
Yeah.
the different waves. Like people will graduate and you get like new waves of like younger like kids,
Better,
like kids
smarter,
in high
faster.
school. Yeah, and it's interesting because like when I first started there, I was like that kid in high school, and it's like
Yeah.
I keep growing up, but then like my coworkers, some of them are still like just new ones like coming in. So I mean, I have. Honestly, I'm trying to think of like stories, but like essentially Bahama Bucks is an original shaved ice place. I make shaved ice and smoothies and lemonades for a living.
Mm-hmm.
And
You got any specials?
specials. Okay, the secret menu.
This is your spot, like free advertisement.
Yeah.
We have happy hour on sodas from 2 to 5. I don't know if they're worth it, but yeah. And I don't know, I'm trying to think. I have like a scar, like probably the biggest scar like on my
my
body.
gosh, yeah.
Like, my scar story is from work. When people ask about it, it's like this big scar on my arm. And when people ask about it, I just tell them it's a knife fight and then go on about my life.
Right.
And as you do. And
No explanation needed.
yeah, like they're just like, oh, what happened? I say knife fight because
And
I'm
then
like, I
walk
don't want to
away.
talk about it.
You should see the loser.
I know. I'm like, you should see the other guy. But okay, so one of our safe doors, like for the money. So like I'm a manager. I can count the money. Sometimes I think about running away to Mexico with it. But I'm just kidding for my work listeners. And essentially, I was just crouching, and then I stood up, and it caught my arm, and then I'll show you guys like.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
wow.
a
Yeah,
scar.
and so it literally cut through my shirt. My arm was bleeding like all the way down. We're in the middle of closing. So then my manager was like, oh my gosh, like we have to do something. Like we have to like get you like bandages. So then after I was like, it's fine. And I didn't know about workman's compensation. Like I could have gotten.
You could have gotten that coin.
I could have
settled
gotten
for life.
money.
You
I could have gotten money.
College
but
paid for.
I know, I didn't know, and I don't know. I don't know if I like just didn't grow up in a household where you like go to the hospital for stuff. But I should have gotten stitches for that. Like after the fact, everyone was like, "Why didn't you go get stitches?" I was like, "I didn't know you got stitches like for like scratches. Like I just thought you got stitches like if you like
bone
cut your
deep cuts.
exactly. So like. First of all, they could have I could have got compensation, and then I could have paid for my stitches, and it probably would have healed a lot better. But yeah, I stood up, the safe got me, and then my manager was trying to act like a doctor. Like I was sitting on the back of like his
He's
car.
like, apply pressure.
We were at Walgreens. He was like grabbing all the first aid stuff off the shelf, and I was like
God.
sitting on his car with like blood dripping down my arm, and he was like stitching me up. He was like, okay, just make sure you like flush the wound, and I was like, whatever. Like I'm just gonna throw some Neosporin on it and call it a day. Oh, and then I think it scarred like this, so it like healed a little bit. Yeah. But then I went to the Brockhampton concert. I remember that. The Brockhampton concert, and I wore I don't know why I was just obsessed. I was like, oh, I gotta look cute. Like it's hot.
Yeah.
Like I should have worn a t-shirt. Just should have worn a t-shirt. So like it would have, and I should have worn my bandage on it. But I was like, I don't want to wear a bandage and a tank top. Like that's not gonna look good. And so I straight up, and so it essentially it just came off. Like I was like I almost lost like my soul that night. Like that mosh pit was just too heavy, and I literally remember like looking down. And I was like, oh well, I guess that's not. I guess that's.
I think I'm bleeding out.
Yeah. It was bad.
That was the first mosh pit that I was like actually like okay.
I'm scared.
Really? I think it was just like the sheer amount of people that were trying to mosh. It was literally
Yeah.
It was
there's too
the
many
whole.
people.
It was like the whole. Like
It was
no
the
one was
whole
calm.
venue.
Unless you got
venue.
out of the crowd, that was the calm.
You need
like
to
if you were
leave the
in
theater.
exactly.
Like, to get out
no
of
one
it.
was calm. Everyone was jumping and pushing, and I was just like, oh my god.
It's like holy fuck. There's
I
too many
wasn't there,
people
but
here.
hearing Hope's stories, I was like,
Like the fact
would
that I
not
was
have
wearing a
survived.
jean jacket and then I like ringed it out after the show.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh my gosh,
Maybe it was also the fact that I was also wearing a
Orange jumpsuit.
jumpsuit with my orange graduation gown.
it was cool.
No,
fit, though.
you were
And
not
a-
wearing your graduation gown.
He
I
was.
was.
I sat
I
on
was.
it.
I
Remember?
have-
We asked you if you could take it off so we could sit on it. We were like,
Yeah.
hey, are you like wearing that? Like,
I have photo evidence of we
That's
all
amazing.
wore giant orange jumpsuits. Were the biggest mistake of our lives.
And we learn and we live and we grow.
Andrea, how about you?
Um,
you have
Nothing
You've had
really
interesting
crazy happened.
jobs.
I worked at Starbucks.
your first job though.
Well, yeah, that was T Street. I worked alone. Nothing like crazy happened because it was just, I mean, like half the time it was empty.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just me and the bugs, you know?
Yeah,
But
naturally.
I worked alone. I don't know. Sometimes like people would come in like late at night and I was the only person there. And people would just come in and be like, hey, can I use the bathroom, like your restroom? And be like, sure, it's around like the corner where I couldn't see it because it was like around the corner from my little like desk that I sat at behind the counter. And they would just be in there for hours. Late at night. And every time I was like, if this is the night I die, like I die at T Street, like will it have been worth it?
Keep you company.
Yeah, it just like, I don't know. That could have been it for me.
It's just the sounds of the giant
Front out the fan again.
for our listeners, it's warm in here.
It's
Like, it's warm.
It's a tad bit. But you know what? We're comfy. This is a homey
We're
space.
sacrificing
We're cozy.
AC for your audio quality. So
You're welcome. Donate to our Patreon.
I honestly, I feel like I can't think of like more work stories, but like I remember work stories that Ariana has had from working
honey.
at Freddy's,
Freddy's
corporate
frozen custard
America.
and steak burgers.
Oh, okay. Can you please explain the one? Because this one I don't
Are we talking
remember
about the Harkins Cup
vividly.
one?
Yes.
What?
Where? Okay, I'll just say like the tidbit. She'll do the detail where a grown man threw a soda cup at her, like a Harkins cup.
Like
it was a
full
woman.
It was
Okay.
A full cup?
Like
a whole ass
like
cup.
a whole cup
A
of
loyalty
soda.
cup, bitch. A loyalty cup.
Did you take it home?
Wow.
Tell me you took that cup home.
No, it cracked.
Oh.
Was it
my
She
head.
threw it hard.
full of beverage?
It was full. I was like, this is just a waste
Do you
of money
remember
on
what
your part.
soda it was? We were like,
I was getting like Pepsi vibes. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was picking up smoky.
I was getting like a smoky, like cherry Pepsi,
vanilla
maybe.
Pepsi.
Yeah. So I was a full-time employee at the age of 16 at Freddy's. Again, all alleged. We don't want to get sued.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
it was illegal.
Allegedly, what I was doing was I got paid decent. I was getting paid way more than 16-year-olds were in junior high.
Because you worked
'Cause I
70
worked
hours a
Full
week.
time.
That's
She
exactly
should have
right.
had benefits.
Yeah,
I
like you
should
were
have had
definitely.
benefits. They tried making me a supervisor at 17, and I was like, I'm in high school. Like, I'm not doing this. But anyway, I have many stories there. But the best one I would say is, I mean, we're right next to a bus stop. And for those of you who work next to bus stops, you just know you get quite the characters that come in.
For all of our listeners
For all
that
of our
work
listeners.
next to bus stops in your cities.
You get a fair share of crazy people that come in, or just mentally ill people, or people who are on drugs, or
Allegedly.
or all of the above.
People who have just had
fair.
a little too many bad days.
A little too many. But we were also right next to Harkins. Like we basically shared a parking lot. So on super like whenever like big blockbuster movies came out, we would be super busy for whatever reason. And so we have our own parking lot, and it says like, don't park here if you're going to Harkins because you'll get towed. And like we have nothing to do with that. The mall cops just come around, and if they see that like the number of people, Paul Blart, yeah.
We stand Paul Blart.
He's not canceled.
They would come in. Isn't he though?
No.
Okay, sorry.
Don't come
And
for
that's
Kevin
the end of
James.
that.
No. Don't come for
That's
Kevin James.
where we draw the line.
You're just a
finish
King of
your
Queens
story?
fan. That's
He
it.
is a cop.
Oh, shit.
And that shut Hope down real fast.
But mall cop, I don't know.
Is he the good kind?
It feels different.
Listen,
Here's the thing: it's all in the intention because if you listen to the narrative of the story, he wants to be a real cop.
Oh, that's
Isn't
true.
that just as bad?
Yeah, it is. Never mind. Paul Blart's canceled. Continue.
Damn it.
Sorry, Hope. I know. First Olive Garden.
Then
Now,
Paul
now
Olive Garden fucking destroyed me.
I'm sorry. But yeah, so this family or whatever parked in our parking lot. Long story short, they weren't supposed to because they went to Harkins instead of Freddy's. They got towed, and again, we have nothing to do with it. But they came in, they're like, "Hey, like, where the hell's our car?" And they came up to me, and I was like, "What do you mean?" 16-year-old me. I was like, I don't.
Does not compute.
I'm not from here. What do you mean?
What do you mean? And so,
Understand what you're saying.
and
it-
I
Wait, can
asked
you say that
them,
in your Romanian accent?
I can't really do a Romanian accent, to be honest.
Just
say it in Romanian.
Ce vrei să zici?
She said something cheese. And so they just asked me like where their car was, and I was like, well, did you eat here first and then go to Harkins, or did you just go to Harkins? And they're like, well, like we were planning on eating here, but like we went to see a movie and like our car's gone. And I was like, sorry, but there's like 7 signs in a parking lot that say like you can't park here if you're seeing a movie. And they just were cussing me out as a little 16-year-old. I was like, I'm sorry, like I can get my manager. And she's like, no, you. Like I want to talk to you. And they're like screaming in our little 5'4" restaurant. And so I was like, they asked me, they're like, she was like, like let's talk outside so we don't make a scene in here. And it was just
No, the first
It
rule.
gets mugged.
The first rule:
And that's where she lost her full-time salary that she's been saving up.
never relocate.
And so, Yeah, I didn't know that then, and so I was like, okay.
You stepped
and my
out?
supervisor was standing there because she was screaming like I just looked at her and she was like,
She didn't. And she didn't intervene.
no. She just kind of.
She let you. She let these people take you to a different location.
She let them kidnap me. Yeah.
Your
Supervisor was like, y'all hear something?
I know.
Standing there, like hands on hips, like checking the fryer.
I know. Like, what should you?
She's like, these burgers are not gonna make me
I wish Justin was working this day. That would have been amazing.
I just like picture in my head like these people like
Justin would have been like,
you.
no.
You like look at your manager and all of a sudden like they're just like getting busy.
I know. I was like,
They're like checking the temperature of the sanitizer water.
and the kids looked so uncomfortable, and the dad was like, honey, like it's not a big, like it's fine, like we'll just call the tow company or whatever, because again, we have nothing to do with it. And so me and the wife or the whatever, we went out, like we had a side door as well as like our main entrance, and we went out the side door. That's like our whole restaurant, it's all windows, so like I was seeing clear view, so I didn't think anything that bad was gonna happen. But anyway, so she was yelling at me, and she just kept like screaming and like pointing in my face. I don't remember exactly what she said because this was like 5 years ago, but she got real mad. And then when I was like, I was like, listen, I'm sorry, like there's nothing we can do about it. Again, I can grab my manager, like she'll be able to help you out, she can give you like the tow company's number, but that's like all mall cop business. Like we don't. I'm just a cashier. Like
I don't with Paul Blart. Okay, not me.
And so, yeah, this is when I saw my life flash before my eyes, and she got her full, like they refilled it before they left, like her full Harkins Loyalty cup, and like full on just chucked it at me.
Oh.
And it hit me square in the chest.
Oh.
So it like exploded like on your face.
Yeah. So I was like soaking wet, and I just like was kind of stunned. Like I don't remember what happened like either before or after. I was just kind of standing there like, what?
Why didn't you fight her? I would have went bodies.
She was too sticky. She like couldn't move. She was like,
I was just in such
like a
shock because
bug.
you don't.
I
No
know, you can't
normal
expect
person
that.
does that.
I know, you're like, I'm dealing with like cuckoo cachoo. Like,
And so I was just kind of like, okay.
you just start walking home.
And that's when my supervisor came out and was like, what's going on? And I was like, oh, now you want to be a hero? Like, now's when you want to step in. But anyway, so like,
You think at that point, like you just like go along with whatever they want you to do. Like you get hit with
I was like, please
a
just
cup
don't
of Pepsi,
kill
and you're like,
me.
all right, let's go get your
I just
car.
want to emphasize how big those cups are. Like, they're
Yeah,
like
they're
32
huge.
ounce.
They're huge.
I don't think
Like,
there
a
was
full
ice in
is
there, so
heavy.
it was just
The ice would have
full
been
of
KO.
liquid.
Like,
Yeah, I would have truly been knocked out. It's like little BB gun pellets.
wow.
But yeah, so that I think my supervisor like called like security
police.
or something like that. But I went inside after she came out, and I was like, so I'm gonna go home because I was just covered at the toe
Just
and
get on the
Pepsi or
bus.
whatever.
Just get on the bus,
I
like,
did because
dripping.
I didn't have a car, so I got on the city bus.
Dripping
I was just
Pepsi.
like,
Bus driver's
bus
like,
driver-
don't sit down. we
Hold on
just
to the
got
railing.
this bus. We just got this bus detailed.
I just detailed this bus. And yeah, that's one of my many fun stories at Freddy's.
Please.
Now I got
love-
paid a decent amount. I did not
Yeah.
get paid enough.
You
It
did
was
not
worth it.
enough.
Not enough.
For the emotional damage.
I had like a bruise too. Like it was like it looked like I got punched square in the chest. It felt like I got punched square in the chest. But
I would have been so upset. I would have gone to Harkins, filled that cup up one more time.
And be like,
for
you know
a
what?
good
I'm
story.
keeping this for the rest of the year. You know what?
No, it's my loyalty cup now.
you know what? I'm getting my dollar drink. So yeah,
That's so twisted.
that was my experience. That was just kind of like the cherry on top of my life. There
That's
at
a vivid
Freddy's.
story. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
So I'm thinking this would be a good. We've all shared.
Okay.
We've all shared our life experience.
We've
Yeah,
gone
we've shared.
We've gone really far.
We've shared,
gotten
that's
really
it.
close.
We've
We
shared our
can do our
trauma.
ad break now.
Oh yes.
What's tea?
So the tea is, I actually thought about this one. This is the first time that I drove by the place today, and I was like, oh my gosh, I should admit. I don't know if I've. Anyways, it's about rat-a-tat.
Nar.
Shout out out to Rat-a-tat.
Shout out to Rat-a-tat. It's such a low budget place. Like it's a place. It's a place that if you're driving by, you'd be like, oh, I don't want to go in there. But
I know.
me and Hope, we have the fondest
It's our
memories.
home.
It's our Emily's our mom. Rat-a-tat is our home.
Rat-a-tat is a tattoo place. They also do piercing.
Yeah.
I don't know about tattoos, but like me
I
and
would
Ariana
never
got
get a
piercings.
tattoo there. But piercings, however, I will pay the $20 for.
Yeah.
I've gotten all of my piercings re-pierced there. I've had my nose pierced quite a few
You
times.
should get your nose pierced again.
No,
Why?
I'm not doing it a fourth
I
time.
like
At this
that.
point, it's just like all tissue and it's not going to go in. But yeah, I mean, I didn't get my belly button pierced there, but I got everything else.
Oh my god, can I just say, sometimes when I'm at yoga, I see these like older ladies, not older, but like, you know, just middle-aged adult women. And they're like, you know how a lot of people have like high-waisted leggings? They're like high-waisted, but they're pulled down a little bit because they need the belly button piercing to be out. And they're like
Not me.
doing all these things like back and forth. And I just see their belly button like bouncing, like the piercing. And I'm like, oh my god, like it just sends me. It just sends me.
That's amazing.
It's so funny. That could be you.
I think I've had mine in for so long already that like
Yeah.
Its
feel like-
time is almost up.
its time is up. It's
Yeah.
had its life. I got it pierced when I was 12. Like
We're not 12.
good.
Have
I
you
was
ever
12.
had any?
I've told you this story.
Wait, you were literally 12?
I was 12 years old. It was the last day of 6th grade.
Who did that to you?
I did it myself. I took a bus to downtown Phoenix.
No, I know, but like, what piercer?
Oh, I went to like several different places before someone was like, Mary.
I did, and she was like, "Oh, I'll see it."
I know. I was like, I forgot it in the car.
That is so twisted.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you ever had any piercing mishaps?
Nothing has gone too bad. I've been to HTC and they kind of like put like my lobe piercings in like wonky places, so I got them re-pierced at Rat-a-tat. I think that's why I like Rat-a-tat so much, is because they're cheap. Emily
Okay.
knows what she's doing,
That's all you can ask for.
and that's all you can ask for. Really, I don't need to pay $1,000.
I think the last thing you want to hear when you're getting something pierced is, okay, hold on. Could you just lay down for a second?
Oh
That
no!
happened to me, and I was like, "What's going on?" And she was like, "Oh, just it's not a big deal. If it's just if you could just like
If
lay
someone's
down."
stuttering
You see-
that much when you're talking to them, I'd be like, I gotta go.
That's almost as bad. Oopsie, I did something bad.
And then I don't really, because like it was my nose, I just feel like a lot of blood coming out of my nose. And she was like, I just need like a different tool. I don't want to hear.
Cavemen be
I don't
like-
want to hear anything about
I just
like
need a
long
sharper
tools.
rock.
I thought like the only tool you need is like the needle. You
The
just
needle?
click it. Clunk, you're done. And she had like 3 different tools because something about my nose was just fucked. And I was
Where
She's
did
like,
you get this done at?
this one's complicated.
I did it at, I allegedly got it at HTC.
Got it.
in Tempe.
I'm picking up what you're putting
Can I
down.
just say, I've had good experiences at HTC.
I had good experiences too. Just this last time was just, it was a little.
Yeah.
It was a new girl. She.
Everyone's got to learn.
I mean, I guess I would hope that if you're gonna. If you're in the business of just like professionally stabbing people, you know, you don't.
Well, they have to practice on people.
That's true. I want you to have a little bit more confidence. Just like tell me
She's
like,
like-
straight up, like, oh,
She's
I
like,
just-
"Look, I hit an artery."
Yeah, I said it. Right. You know, that's
just
just
say
like,
it.
You start feeling like an anatomy.
don't beat around the bush, you know.
I'm not a biology major.
I'm like, as
Sorry.
an EMT, I can attest. There's
All right. I'm like, that's a good place
Oh,
to
it's
end.
a capillary? Is that what it is?
capillary.
Yep.
I remember
what
that from
stops
8th grade.
I hit the spine. She's like, I don't know how it happened, but I hit it, and we're here.
Adrian's just like,
And Adrian had to wheel himself in here.
We're gonna need to put you under a little bit. There's got a big cartoon hammer.
Adrian, what's your ad? I know it's not HTC, so what's something
Ad?
it's just something that we wish we were advertised by, that we really love. Again, we're not advertised. Please don't sue us, companies. We wish we were.
Come back to me. There are some places that I like.
Sure.
I
How about
do
you,
enjoy.
Andrea? How about your nail place? Your nails are looking cute. That's why I say
Oh,
that.
these ones? I'm thinking of
these
going
old
to a
things?
different place now, so it's...
Is it the place that we're going on?
Yeah, what's that place called?
Herbal Nails.
Herbal Nails, okay.
But you
I'm
haven't been
excited.
there yet.
Well,
so
I can just shout out SNS like polish in general.
Yeah.
I think it's like the biggest brain like solution to nail polish.
brain solution.
Like
Smart solution to.
yeah, it's like the biggest. It's been great
Yeah.
for me because gel polish only lasts so long, especially when you work in the service industry. Like I feel like my nails are susceptible to a lot of damage because I've used them for a lot of stuff.
That's
you know, like
exactly
cutting
right.
things, like digging and stuff. You know,
just
kidding.
typical server stuff.
But yeah, just like working, like your hands aren't always looking good. But SNS nail polish is like layers and layers of like powder. I don't know the technology, but it like lasts. It's like hard. Like if you listen,
Wow, look at that quality.
ASMR.
I got chills.
that's my nails. And yeah, they last for like weeks and then look really good. And it just
I'm
it
getting
feels
them for
good.
the
It
first
feels
time
good.
this coming up week, and I'm excited.
Yeah, it's like it's nice because then you have like you just feel nice when you look down and you see something sparkling.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know.
That's exactly
Speaking
right.
of nails, I know what my ad is gonna be.
All right. Good segue.
The Ulta Beauty at the Promenade in Scottsdale.
Okay.
Your mind.
Specifically the salon there. Back when I had to get like my hair like completely redone and everything.
Yeah.
I have a rule that I do not allow white people to touch my hair. Sorry.
It's a good
Smart.
rule.
It's just the
Smart.
way. It's just.
I mean,
it's
as
just,
a person of color, to go.
Yeah, exactly. It's just.
Sorry.
It's just the rule you gotta have. And the unfortunate fact is, in Tempe, Arizona, there we kind of are.
Caucasians.
It's like all of the barbershops are just like those
Barbershops.
real like gentrified.
Yeah.
Like you walk in and it looks like a new McDonald's.
Have you heard
know
of
what I mean?
Have you heard of Mug? It's like men. It sounds like barbershop,
Men
but it's
under.
Men under
Grass.
gourmet. I don't know.
yeah, that's what it is. But it's so advertised, but
Yeah.
it's so weird to me that it's like Mug
It's
root
like-
beer. Like, what? But it's like it's specifically for men. Like if you're a woman, you go in there,
Yeah,
Sorry.
no.
you get beat.
Get the cops called.
You get
Yeah, I mean it's just like sports clips and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and white barbershops that look
Gray
like
clips.
Tony
gray
guy.
clips. A barbershop that looks like they look like the waiting room to like a child's hospital.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't trust like that. So I had to do a whole bunch of research, and I found
Or you
out.
could have just hit me up and I would have gave you like a place.
Do you
Really?
know places?
I
Because
know
I
a
couldn't
bunch of
find any.
places. I know.
She's like, I've got a little black book and some contacts.
If you in the future, if you ever need your hair done or something.
Probably. I mean,
He's like, I go to
found a
Ulta
good
now,
place.
so.
The Ulta at the Promenade.
Wow.
Surprisingly, like, shouts out to Dora. She hooked me up.
Love you, Dora.
She got me the fade.
Yeah, your hair's looking real
They
nice.
do nails there. They have everything you need there. So if you're somebody who has, I hate natural hair. if you have black hair and you need like a place to get your hair did, like the Ulta, the Promenade, they'll hook you up. They know what they're doing there. They
Cool.
did me right. So.
good.
Are we still using the allegedly?
Well, if it's
I'm
a
glad-
good thing, if it's a nice thing that you're saying, I think it's fine. If
I'm
you just
just
say
not
it.
taking any
we're not-
risks.
He doesn't want that ticket coming in the mail.
Yeah, exactly.
Hope, how
Okay.
about you? Last but not least.
I don't have an ad today.
Well, you're gonna think of one because
Because that's how we do it around here.
Oh, Rain. We'll
Yes.
do Rain because we also talked about Bang is canceled. Rain. During this podcast, I've noticed that I had a bunch of energy, and this is the first this is my first time drinking a Rain energy drink,
That
and I
vi-
was shaking.
that vibrating noise is not just
It's my
Adrian. It's
hands also
Hope.
shaking. Like I've never had that much caffeine before.
Yeah, that's
Or, like,
300
I-
milligrams.
Yeah,
Oh.
I've never shook before when I like have caffeine. When people talk about them shaking, I'm like, okay, it never happened. But when I like grabbed it, I was like, oh my god, like, I'm actually
You're like,
shaking.
Is there any left in there? Did you finish it?
You can try.
I'd like
it
to
out.
try a sip. Which one?
I finished mine.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's still a little bit left. if
Let
you
me
want
combine
some.
it and just get a huge grain.
Just take one at a time.
Like
Pal,
going
take it
mega
easy.
mine.
All right.
What's a good one,
It's
guys?
been
It's been a great episode.
It's been excellent. Thank you, Adrian, for
Oh,
coming on.
Adrian,
Thank
it's
you
a
for
pleasure.
having me.
Not
I'm
flavor.
honored.
We have to have you back.
I'm honored.
It was a great time.
We'll talk fall break.
Fall break?
Yeah. How are you looking?
We don't
at
want to
your
see you any
schedule?
sooner than fall break.
We'll talk to you at recess. Like
Like, yeah.
Are you coming today? Tonight?
to what?
he has star 6-7.
Oh.
I have work.
Oh.
I
Okay.
hot. Gross. I'm just kidding.
I need to change my availability.
Two for school. Oh, you reminded me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you reminded me. Gotta let him know. It starts in like 2 weeks.
I'm
Mine
gonna be
starts
broke.
in-
So
oh
it's
yeah,
fine.
huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks,
Oh,
guys.
fuck.
Thanks. Ciao.
Love
I gotta
so
pay my
much.
tuition.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe to our Patreon that hasn't been made yet.
Subscribe to our
Bye.
Patreon. We will
Vote Bernie
soon.
2020.